Hey, what's up, everyone? Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Heliopsychosis podcast. It's your host, Vikka Draziv. Guys, welcome to the show. If you're watching us from YouTube, do comment, like, share, and subscribe. If your first time here, and do share the show with your friends and family who you think should also know what we are also sharing here, and maybe it resonates with them. So do invite your friends. And if you're watching us from realtruthseekers.com, rts.video, yes, rts.video is one of our main sponsors for Heliopsychosis and most of our coming productions. So make sure you guys check us out also on rts.video. And yes, we decided to do a second part of our show from last week, Astrology on Flat Realm. And I think it was an awesome show. So we still had to cover more thing, and we are planning to cover what we couldn't cover the last time. So yeah, we're looking forward for an awesome show today too. So let's get on with our co-host and panelist for tonight. Gene, brother, how are you?
Hey, Vikka, doing great. I'm excited about tonight, bro. You're right. We left such a wide open category last week that was like, it's like, wow, this definitely deserves a second show, bro. So I'm real happy to be here again. And how's everybody doing? Evelyn, Stephanie, hi, girls. Hello, ladies. Hope everybody's doing good. I'm glad you're here. Last week was such a really great show that it stuck in my mind all week, you guys. And I wanted to bring up when Stephanie said how interesting it is that they call this stuff New Age and also want to call it woo-woo and make fun of it and deflect the reality behind it. And which makes me think that, they say it started 5,000 years ago in Babylonia, but which also makes me think, how would these guys have known, Vikka, when you said that they're talking about the 25,000 year precession of the sun in the ecliptic across the constellations? How would such a brand new civilization known all these things? So, like, all the questions it's raising for me are just as exciting as some of the answers I'm getting to the guys, and I don't know. You're talking about one arc. They were measuring the precession of the sun in arc seconds, right? Vikka, 54 arc seconds, and arc seconds is 1 degree in 1 second of motion of the stars across the sky. I think that's how it goes. A little confusing, and these guys broke that down into 1 degree being 1 minute. 60 seconds, they broke it down. They broke it down so far, and it's pretty amazing how, like, 1 degree, 1/360th of a circle, bro. They broke it down in crazy. You guys look up what an arc second is, and you understand what ancient people had good understanding of how the motions in the sky were going on. Is just incredible. Really is. So thanks a lot, guys, for being here and hanging out and having a good time like this about some very interesting topics that are very older than we can maybe imagine.
Oh yeah, brother, exactly.
Wow.
Because science only speculates, Science speculate, and wisdom and truth flows from above. That's why you cannot we cannot wrap our brain rationally around how this information could get here. In reality, it's coded in all of us, right? And around us.
It has to be, because like, the physical information is so incredible. I think our mind would explode if we ingested too much of that kind of information at once as a human. That's incredible what these people knew. It's becoming more and more fascinating how they understood things that we just don't. We don't even know what they understood. We don't know what to think they understood. That's what, and we are kind of at a low pinnacle of humanity as far as, like, so many aspects of what they got us doing.
Oh yeah, in many aspects we think that they just have limited, information about it, about on every aspect, be it astrology too. And if we've been, oh yeah, we're gonna get in
Yes.
deeper tonight on that too. So,
Nice.
and the next panelist we have is Evelyn. Evelyn, how are you?
Hi. So, good evening, Vikka, Jean, Stephanie. The week has gone by so quickly, and yeah, I'm looking forward to carrying on with part two because I think we didn't even cover the half of what we could have covered. So here we are.
Oh yeah. So if the week passed very fast, that means you are on a higher vibration, as we spoke about last week. So that's awesome. And our final panelist is Stephanie. Stephanie Campbell. How are you, Stephanie?
Very good. I think they both said it very well. And thank you for inviting me to part two, because yes, there is a ton more to cover. And I'm excited to see where it goes. So thank you for having me again.
Oh yeah. So before you wanted to cover, Evelyn, about the calendar and stuff. We will do these days and then we go with the calendar you wanted to mention. All right.
Okay. Yes.
So the days of the week, what are the meanings and the energy behind the day of the week according to the astrology? Like the days of the week all carry their own special vibration. Of course, the specific vibration of the day will be influenced by the luminaries, your own life circumstances, and your own personal vibration. However, each day has its own vibe that runs like an undercurrent for 24 hours on frequency. Yeah. In ancient times, the days of the week were named in accordance to the luminaries. Each day was special and signified a time to utilize the energy of each luminary gods. It is interesting when you look back at the energetic meanings of the days of the week, as they still organically ring through today. It's no coincidence that Saturday and Sunday are rest days, whereas other days are considered part of the working week. So we can start with Monday. Monday is the day of the moon, a day for stepping into our true potential, intuition, and emotions. Monday truly sets the emotional tone for the week ahead, because the moon asks us to get clear about our emotions and what we want to achieve in the coming days. Monday often gets a bad rap, and many dread the day or find it challenging. This is because emotions can be stirred on the day of the moon, causing us to feel moody and sluggish. That's why people hate Mondays, because also the people have to go to the work, right? Who likes Monday? No one.
Well, I don't need to go to work, so
Even if it's a holiday, like tomorrow is supposed to be the slave day, right? So a holiday for the slave once a year at least. Happy slave days to the people, right?
yes, Labor Day.
Exactly. They set it up that way. I don't
Slave
believe in
Day.
the
I
days
like
of
that.
Go ahead.
that. I didn't put any faith in the days of the week the way they had it set up for us. I would go through the week and like call it Friday all week as a kid, and then Saturday would be okay, and Sunday would be Friday again. Just because, seriously, I didn't want to conform to anything they were trying to tell me, just in kind of weird ways too. And I would also do things like if we were going to do something, I would goof around and say, well, where was the moon last Wednesday? I don't know if I could do that this week. I got to check with the stars. Where were the stars lined up? And now I kind of wonder, it's like, was I really just a little more in tune with things back then? But I remember it as just goofing around. People got a kick out of it. But maybe it came from somewhere.
Oh yeah, then for sure people want that every day is a Sunday or every day is a Saturday or Sunday. It's a weekend, right?
Right?
So this is the thing, right? If you're not a fan of Monday, there may be some underlying emotional energy that you are struggling to deal with. Monday can also bring about a positive wave of motivation and energy. If we feel positive about our lives and emotionally healthy, Monday can help us launch forward and be in a positive frame of mind for the week ahead, because it's all cycles, right? Even the day, from the sunrise to the afternoon to the evening to the night, is a whole cycle, at a micro level. So the weeks are also in a way cycles, right? And it's affecting us. Is that weekly thing is built in, right? And also, as we mentioned that in one of the podcasts, that just removing and adding this 1 hour saving time, saving daylight time, can affect the human mind. So imagine how deep is it encoded in us.
It takes days or
Months.
It can take into weeks to readjust to that time frame, to bounce around like that twice a year. They know exactly what they're doing, and that's why. Well, Evelyn, I'm sure, got into the calendar lately. Why they did things that way.
And there are studies that it shows that it happens. Or someone have mic very near to your. Yep. So you can imagine how it's the biological clock is important for us to be in synchronized with the celestial above. Even an hour difference. So imagine they're doing it 2 times a year to screw with people's bio clock.
Your circadian rhythm, right? Or something like that.
Yes.
Daily cycle. Yeah.
Also, I hear many people say, the animals are gonna get distressed because of the 1 hour difference, and I'm like, animals can't tell the time. They really have they don't care what time it is.
Yeah, we are going to be distressed in reality, not the animals.
Not the animals. They know very
they
well.
They might notice we do things off schedule, but
oh yeah, when the food is not coming
Yeah, right. Exactly.
on time.
Yeah,
They'll remind you.
Even
sure
earlier.
they're thinking, what's wrong with them?
Yeah, staring at you like, hey, what's going on in your head?
So we can even, somebody's having the mic very near to your mouth. I don't know if it's,
Probably me.
yeah. So imagine these people have all those timelines twisted and all celebrating everything in wrong time. They are changing the energy and frequency of what should be during the year. So they're literally playing around with that. Why? We know why, right?
Yeah, so they keep our vibration and concentration in the wrong places and the wrong things. They got us, on a calendar that they just invented to throw the other calendar off of our natural cycles and celebrating these fictitious fake holidays, which are probably on terrible days, really. When you look at things. That's what I think.
Yeah, so we can imagine the Mayans calendars, how they have, and they are so old, and what cycles they are predicting and what they are managing there, and all different ancient too, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, it definitely adds to questioning the timeline that we're given and how it's, how they muddy the waters and they put little truths here and there that you got to sort out and sift through. But that can definitely present a nice problem with the timeline. How could they know that stuff? Any of them, and any of these cultures were only under 5,000 to 6,000 years old. So, what would they know about a 10,000 year procession in anything, right? How would they know that? They would only know something after it happened, probably too, unless they were given the information. Right? Because how do you know what the stars are going to do tomorrow if you've never seen it before? These guys are brand new in civilization. Does that make sense, right? These details that
Exactly.
the details they knew are just so fine tuned. That's kind of amazing.
Oh yeah, because there has to be a pattern, right? The pattern, following the patterns, right? The nature, how it manifests itself in everything. So the one who have the eyes to see, they have seen it, and for ages, and for many long periods of time. So
exactly, the details are so minute. I don't, I think that's almost can only be reverse engineered.
yeah, because even if we see the fractals, right, the Mandelbrot set, the mandala, and everything is just a repetition at a bigger level, maybe a twice or thrice, right? That's the sacred geometry of nature, maths of the nature.
Just like the sacred geometry stream you just did with the Visika Pisces or whatever. Exactly.
So there are these patterns that people can come to that understanding of this creation and try to describe or define something which is in reality undescribable, right? And as you say, at the level and the time period we speak about, it's mind blowing. So cool. And the next day of the week, Tuesday is ruled by a planet of action and energy, Mars. Mars is a great day for getting things done. If Monday is all about setting the emotional tone, Tuesday is all about putting the tone into action. Tuesday is a perfect day to launch forward with projects, make decisions, and get ahead.
That's great, Vikka. You know, we talk about having plans to do things, and it's always, well, usually better to have a plan. So you get your plan going after you rest on the weekend, get your plan going on Monday, and then you got Tuesday to start your plan, and the rest of the 4 days to kind of follow through as well. That's cool.
Exactly, because it's
You got to take your plan into action, or else it's, it's kind of a little useless.
Yeah, there should be a plan, right? In a way, for the plan, first is to be thought, and then it is to be like the step taken, and then continue, right? You have to follow that structure. If no, it's not. It's complicating things, and nothing happens, right?
No, you always need some sort of little guideline to do anything. Anything. Tie your shoes. It needs a little couple guidelines of doing a few things a certain way, different ways. But you break it down as simple as that.
Exactly. The energy of the day will also help you to start making progress in all areas of your life, because Mars is connected with action, right? And is excellent for getting in tune with your passion. Mars is red, right? Passion. In order to best use the energy of Tuesday, get clear about what you want, and then go out there and make it happen. Mars energy gives us the drive and passion to follow through on our goals, dreams, and desire. So it's just that energy of that luminary is affecting us in that way at each day of the week. It's amazing. And it's true, yeah. If you really think about it, it's true, right?
This is really great. And we've talked about communicating this way, so that it is sort of a communication between the luminaries and us. So that just makes me want to communicate back. And when you do, it kind of becomes mutual.
Exactly, yeah. So it's not like just the signal is coming and it's just getting blocked here, so it's going back and it's circling, right?
Right, yes.
And it's flowing and it's vibrating.
It knows it's being recognized, so maybe it shows up more, because then it wouldn't be so strange when you recognize something that might be strange. That's why they hide these great things from us, and it's right there in front of us too. It's such a strange, dichotomy of backwardness and twisted upside down.
Oh yeah.
Right? Wow.
So I think it's ironic they use the word veil, because it is so thinly hidden, It's right there if you want to see it.
That's right. Yeah, you can see through a veil. You probably see through a veil better than they can see you. Right? So they're hiding us from who we are, from everyone else, with this shrouded image of reality.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh yeah, if you really see and think about it, it's in everything we can imagine, this code or this language of the astros or the planet or the stars in us, and everything we do and everything we try to define is crazy. So the next is Wednesday, Odin's Day. is ruled by the planet of communication and expression, Mercury. This makes Wednesday the perfect time to get clear about what you want and where you are heading. Wednesday is also the perfect time to schedule meetings, networking events, and any important calls. It is also the perfect day to express yourself to a loved one and to catch up on any correspondence. Mercury rules the higher mind. So brainstorming and ideas usually flourish on Wednesday. Save this day to workshop ideas and come up with creative projects. It's also a perfect time to get clear about any difficult life decisions. Yeah, Wednesday, you're like halfway there, right? And if you really apply this, it works. It really works.
Well, Vika, if we're living in a cycle of everything. Obviously, we talk about it all the time in the past 20 weeks. And why not, it makes sense why they're taking us out of the cycle, and why it makes sense why we should be back in the cycle.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
you're saying a minute ago. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Stephanie.
I was just going to say what Jean was saying a minute ago about the energy, and it's almost like supply and demand. Like it didn't know you wanted to interact with it before, and now it's coming back because it knows it's welcome,
Sure.
That sounds silly when I said it out loud, but it sounded good in my head. Never mind.
No, it makes sense. No, it recognizes that it's being recognized. That's what I think, It's that invisible connection.
Right. Exactly.
Acknowledgement, right? You need to acknowledge things, right?
Yes. The give and take of it all, yeah.
Yeah, because when you believe in it, everything really manifests, right? We were also speaking about in one of our podcasts on aliens, on extraterrestrials, right? Only when you believe in it, and you are on the frequency, you see those kind of things.
Well, yeah, right. It's to go with the full spectrum of light, and that we can't see. It's right there with that. Beings could be just on a different frequency of light, bopping in and out when you're able to see them. Like I said before too, some people, for me at least, I can only be given information a little at a time. It blows my mind sometimes. Like, wow, so fantastic.
Oh yeah, and we humans are totally capable of doing that, actually. So, being the midpoint of the week, the energy on Wednesday also provides us with a clue as to whether or not we are paying attention to our needs and what energy we are expressing out into the universe. In order to use the energy of Wednesday, take the opportunity to express yourself and contemplate on whether the energy you are sending out into the universe is aligned with what you want for yourself.
That's good because you're halfway through, like you say, right? Because like a nice internal check with everything. Make sure you still want to stick on that same path you're right on.
Get distracted and change your way.
Whoops.
Or repent, oh, what am I doing?
Back on track.
So there's no turning back after Wednesday once you get in there, right?
Right. Well, it's downhill from there. So
Thursday is the day of Jupiter. Jupiter, the planet of positivity and expansion, making it the perfect time to learn new things and expand your consciousness. As we wind down the working week, the energy of Thursday allows us to be productive and we're coming to an end, right, of the week. Like, so you're getting more productive. You're like trying to cover up more things and, right, use that energy. Amazing, true, right?
It's like the last mile. It's you see the home stretch. You get that burst of energy. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it. I like this too. My brother. This is a good way to apply what they give us too. Given these days, apply it. Use it for our own benefit. It matters to the individual. So that's how I feel. If it matters for me, then.
No, unfortunately. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
It's been hijacked though, and now they give you this thing called the horoscope in the newspaper that's so broad it wouldn't tell you anything anyway, and that's astrology. So sad.
That's true too. That's what they do. They give you this vague little caption.
Oh yeah, astrology is really applying this knowledge to your life, right? That's real astrology, right?
Right. This is reminding me of what Nancy Reagan might have been doing, but even probably further than, those elite people. I have a feeling they know things, and could it be as simple as the simple applications of what we're talking about right now? It's probably this good start, and there's probably certain dates and things that we could be doing annual things and biannual stuff like that, twice a year, every other year.
Oh, absolutely. And you could do it right now. I mean, if you just look into it a little bit, learn like what the houses are and what it means when certain things and energies are close to that, you could actually line up perfect dates to do things and stuff.
Nice.
Honest.
No, I bet you like planting, harvest, something might seem simple, but those are really important. You don't want to miss your harvest time or anything to do with that.
Oh yeah, even the days of the week, depending on your zodiac, some days of the week is supposed to be more positive and harmonic for you than for other people, right?
Right. Yeah, sure. So use that to your advantage as well. So there's little things that we could be.
Oh, exactly, or even the color, a harmonic color for you, according to your zodiac. For example, you have an important meeting and blue is your harmonic color, and you wear that blue on that, and you make that meeting on that harmonic day.
Right.
There are much more possibilities that it works in your favor. And imagine the same thing doing the opposite. right?
Well,
You
Absolutely.
are wearing a red
right.
collar and you are going on the wrong day. You could do whatever you want. It's not going to work.
Sabotage yourself without even knowing it.
Exactly.
Right. Hey, you know what this reminds me of? You know, the Egyptians used to wear what looked like to be makeup, but it was more ceremonial, and the colors were very specific. This just
Oh,
reminds me when you say colors and what they're used for.
exactly. Color have vibrations too, right? We know, right? So it's the
Sure.
same thing. It's all interconnected. Everything.
Oh, wow.
So there are there are herbs which are harmonic for particular zodiac sign. There are food, vegetables, and fruits which are some are more harmonic to some different signs, right? All that could be applied.
Absolutely.
Wow, I didn't even think of that, but sure. Sure, if you would, we talk about planting them at the right time. Of course, yeah. Now it only makes sense that you say that you use them at the right time as well. Wow.
Exactly, and everything that grows is supposed to be taken at that time of the year, right?
Right. In that region as well, right, Vika?
Also, but it's more about like there's some certain fruit that grows at that time of the year, so you are supposed to eat that fruit morely at that time of the year because it has another function because of that time of the year.
Well, the fruit is vibrating at a certain rate, and if we're under the moon at a certain time, maybe you're supposed to eat certain things at a certain time of the
Sure.
day and night, and right, how
It
you
would
pray
make
to your
sense when
food,
when it's in season, it would be healthier for you, I'd imagine. That would make sense.
right? Because if not, then you're doing something weird to get it at that point.
Hmm.
Yeah, and also the harvest, the timings of the harvest are also works the same way because right maybe there's less moist in the fruit or the vegetable.
Right. Or it might need 3 more days to
Yeah, or
become to to become peak, and little things might be able to tell us that. Farming and gardening is a lifelong experience that you'll never learn enough about. I don't think you
oh
could.
yeah, oh yeah. Even the pruning is supposed to also happen in a particular time
Sure.
depending on the cycle of the moon because if you don't do it in the right time the plants could
Go into
dehydrate because it's so
yeah,
much
they
of
go into shock.
exactly, and it's the time of the year when it's maybe it's feeding itself the nutrients and it's more moving more water during that time of the month, and if you prune it it's just all the energy is gone.
That's right. That's right. Certain plants need to be pruned at different times of the season too. You don't just go prune all your trees at once.
Exactly, so all kind of trees, fruit trees, vegetable, everything trees
Mm-hmm.
functions the same way, right? So they all have their cycles and the time
Right.
for everything from the time they germinate to the time you harvest, right? So it could be
Right.
applied.
Right. I mean, you know what? It's as simple as looking at it how things flower. Things flower from the crocus early season on the early flowering plants to like carnations, the later flowering plants. It all needs different attention. Very specific.
Exactly.
Yeah, very specific too. And it does. It opens up such a great door in life. That's nature, guys. And the dirt is therapy.
Exactly. so, so they call this astrology a pseudoscience, and they call out the astronomy the true science. So these ancients knew all this and much more than we can imagine in much detail. So the energy of the Thursday also supports all things that allow us to expand, whether it's spiritually or mentally. This makes it perfect time to start a new spiritual practice or a new hobby. It's also a good time to wrap up financial matters or manage your money. In order to use the energy of Thursday effectively, make a point to feel gratitude and positivity from the moment you wake up, as this is going to help you leap forward throughout the day. And then there is Friday. Friday is the day of Venus. Venus, the planet of love and creativity. Venus.
And that's a common phrase over here in the States on Monday. You get to work and the first thing you say is it Friday yet?
Which makes it a perfect day to connect with others and relax. The romantic energy of Venus puts us in a social mood on Friday and gets us thinking about those that we love. This makes Friday a perfect day for a date, night, and intimate connections. The energy of Friday also allows us to get creative and can bring a fresh new inspiration to any project we are working on. Expanding or pitching any creative project is also definitely favorable on Friday. Friday is also a good time to wrap up any loose ends and to shelve any ideas that are bubbling for another time. It's also the perfect time to indulge, pamper yourself, and update your beauty routine. In order to use energy of Friday effectively, schedule time with your loved ones and work on any creative projects that you may have in the pipeline. Try not to schedule anything too strenuous on Friday, as it is a day for relaxing and having fun. Oh yeah, who don't love Fridays, right? And then there is Saturday. Saturday is the day of Saturn, the day of taking responsibility and getting organized. For most of us, Saturday is spent catching up on housework, homework, and matters in our personal lives. And this may be because Saturn helps us to get balanced and grounded. Saturday is the perfect day to organize yourself for the week ahead. And from the week just passed. The energy of the day provides us with the drive to catch up and get ahead. Saturday energy is also perfect for getting things done around the house and being proactive when it comes to things that need addressing or fixing in your personal life as well. In order to use the energy of Saturday effectively, tackle some big projects that needs doing and take time out of your day to get organized for the week ahead. Saturday, we all know the Saturday energy. How is it, right?
Yeah, it's usually high-end energy because Friday was good. Friday night was usually decent, right? And you still got Sunday off to look ahead. You get busy on Saturday.
Yeah, that's why people go crazy partying and they freak out, like, like they want to get out of reality, like, that's the way to also one of the way.
Sure. They really escaped the Matrix.
On Saturday.
Right?
Yeah.
The frequency made me do it.
Funny.
And then we have Sunday. Sunday is the day of the sun, a perfect day for relaxing, unwinding, and connecting with your inner self. Sunday is a perfect day for going within and tapping into your inner sunshine and radiance.
Ah.
The energy of the day really supports self-reflection, spiritual growth, and giving yourself the time you need to restore and replenish your soul.
That's really interesting, I mean, like whatever, a lot of people go to church on Sundays. It's very sounds synonymous to me in a way.
Yeah, and the people can go also inside your own temple or your church, right? Within.
Exactly. Right. The temple. See a lot of metaphors, guys. I don't like to point them out all the time, but touchy subjects. But listen to what we're talking about. It's funny how things are lining up that way.
Oh, yeah. Sunday carries with it a beautiful vibe for unwinding and getting centered and refocused for the week ahead. Sunday is also a perfect time to focus on matters surrounding your health and well-being. Social gatherings are also likely to be harmonious and easy-flowing on Sunday, and emotions will often feel softer and gentler. That's nice, right?
Yeah, sure. Well, a lot of these things really make...
Go ahead.
So that's to get you ready for the Monday.
Exactly. And also, yeah, the social gathering is nice too. Like, in order to use the energy of Sunday effectively, make it a day for rest and relaxation. Try not to schedule anything too demanding or high energy on Sunday, and instead take the time to connect to your inner radiance. Yeah, it's crazy. It's so much depends on all these luminaries. So astrology is the science and analysis based on the transit of the luminaries. There are supposed to be 9 luminaries in the astrological world. Apart from the Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, in the Vedics you have Rahu and Ketu, which are considered as luminaries. And our body is made up of Pancha Bhava of each planet plays an equally important role in our life. It's a complete cycle.
I think we talked about the Rahu Ketu. That's the eclipse, the solar eclipse when something happens up there. When you can't ever see the moon approach or exit that, and that's what they call the Rahu Ketu. Is that right?
Yeah. Some people think Rahu and Ketu are supposed to be celestial body. Some say they are the nodes, okay, or the right. crossing points. All right.
I've heard it called the black sun too.
Yeah, some call it the black sun.
There's definitely something going on.
Oh yeah.
And it's very strange that you can't see the moon on the approach or the exit of it.
Exactly. In one of our podcasts, we spoke about this guy. You remember?
Sure.
That what could be the possibility of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were speaking about that. It could be the electromagnetic energy of the Mount Meru in the center that could be creating that distortion. Like, it's like when you see through a huge tree, you see a sun passing through a huge tree, right? You see the sun sometime, and then it goes behind the branches and then continue, right? So that tree, imagine that tree as those electromagnetic energy that is flowing through the middle of the earth, and the sun is passing around, and we see that because of that distortion. We spoke about the Faraday effect, right?
Right. That's right.
Could be, right?
Right. And
apart from, yeah.
Faraday was an electrician, and they sell Faraday boxes to protect you from the energy of your phones and things like that, the magnetic waves coming out of your phones. So there's reality to it. It's not just
exactly
making this stuff up.
Oh no, absolutely scientific.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right there.
It could be something like, the positive negative anodes canceling each other out when they cross each other in a certain way. Don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. So it does affect us, apart from all the luminaries, the eclipses are a part of the astrology, and which house, which sign, which zodiac, which constellation the sun, the moon is in the eclipses at that time, so it's all
connected cycles.
Exactly. Like Rahu is a natural malefic luminary in the Vedic astrology. It's not a planet. In fact, it's an illusion or Chaya Graha. Chaya Graha means a shadow planet or a shadow luminary. That's not real. It represents those things. Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's what I got out of it too. It's just a negative void, absence of light.
Good. Yeah, absence of light, right? It represents those things that are taboo or unconventional for all of us. As per ancient Vedic astrology, Rahu gets exalted in Taurus. Rahu doesn't rule any sign, but it rules the nakshatra called Adrara, Swati, and Shatavisha. Means it's a part of constellation that it rules. On the positive side, Rahu can bring unexpected resources or sources of gain during its time and allows you to settle or while if we see the other side of the coin, it creates stress, fear, anxiety, and depression in life. Rahu is often associated with tobacco, drugs, media, film, etc. So it speaks about the vibration, right? About also that it has some kind of a vibration. It's like the Rahu's like also have that vibration of destroying things, right? You see, it's nothing bad about it. Like you see the babies, they have that same. They look like they have that vibration of Rahu when they are young. They take anything and they want to put it in the mouth, right? The babies, because it's they see whatever they want to take, whatever, and put it in their mouth. It's just a way of expressing that could have that it wants to destroy everything, but it's the part of the vibration it has. It's nothing bad about it. It's just and here it's trying to explain that why all the media people and the rich people, they are associated with all these kind of jobs and everything is because it's with Rahu, because it also have that aspect of it to that it can give you sudden luck, because not for everybody the eclipses are supposed to be bad. It's just the part of time where the sun or the moon is going through that process. And people who understand that and they know about eclipses, they could use that time for any other thing, right?
Yeah. Vikka, yeah, Columbus used that against the natives when he was able to predict an eclipse. And he said, "Can I have some of your food on my trip?" And they're like, "Nah." And he said, "Well, if you don't give me some food, I'll make the sun go away." And
he became the for them, right?
Horrified. They gave him everything at that point. So you're right. They can use things like that. And look at it, the early example, allegedly, of somebody using the knowledge of special events to their advantage over a whole mass of people. One guy did that to like a whole community. Pretty crazy. All because they didn't know.
Oh yeah, so you imagine all these signs and all this. Even the churches knew this, and they had not only the knowledge and information, they even had every kind of things and gadgets to make this work, and pretend to be gods, or the holy or the saint who knew all in the future, and
That's right.
could
Well, they
have
were
helped manipulate the mass in a way.
totally. They were connected to the gods, and they could make things happen if you don't obey what they say. And that's just one example of I'm sure with if they give us one example, I'm sure it was used many times. Look at it today. It's being held against us today, right now, because we don't know.
Exactly, and all the other things related to it, the frequency and the solfeggio frequency and the healing and the organs and all the ether generator,
Yeah. Right. And the frequency we're listening to things and watching things, and it is our mental food, all of these aspects we're talking about. It's important for us.
And the minute people started looking into that stuff, they slapped occult and new age and other labels on it. Make
Right.
people stop looking into it.
Yeah, afraid now their family's going to think they're crazy. But
they
I don't understand how they could be right about all of these things and wrong about the earth moving and the state of it, how it's motionless and relatively level. Well, it is level, relatively flat, I mean. Got bumps and dents. But they knew that we're stationary.
yeah, in a way, astrology proves that.
Well, how could if we've said it, bro, you can't have all that motion without the parallax, and that's with the stars shifting positions. It's like driving by and the same scenery keeps going by over every hour or two, or whatever you want to take the time frame of every, because you can't drive for 24 hours straight. Most people can't, but every night the same stars pass in the same position. Yeah, they shift around, but that always going around the North Pole. The North Pole is the center of all of those constellations, and they just
The same
they're the
constellations.
same trip.
Yeah.
We said it last week too, guys, with the pyramids. They lined up 3,500 years ago or 4,500 years ago, and they still line up. That's no parallax, and you can't have all that motion without some. And yeah, right, they claim this and that, these science guys, but
Oh yeah, they keep moving the stars farther away.
you're right, they're moving the goalpost, showing what was previously an empty black patch of sky loaded with thousands of galaxies, with more black patches.
Yep. And
That's
numbers to the.
an endless source of entertainment for them with these cameras they allegedly have out there.
Oh yeah, that's why they don't want the people to understand the astrology so well, because that's why they have this sci-fi. All these stars are so far away, and as you say, the light year, and how long it takes a light year. 4 light year, 5 light year. It's
Yeah.
all sci-fi. It's all fake entertainment.
No, and listen, guys, light cannot travel in a vacuum. First of all, there's nothing for it to go through, no medium, right? And second, it couldn't travel for that long. If it had a medium to travel through, there's the inverse square law of light, where the further away you get, the light goes wider and dimmer at a certain rate, and it's kind of drastic. So, and we even say if you do that inverse square law of light backwards from the moon, so you can read a book in a full moon or even maybe half a moon, and if you do that, the light backwards, the moon should be brighter than the sun at 230,000 miles away, what they claim.
You can do that experiment you're talking about with a flashlight on your wall and just back up.
Right.
It's not a pinpoint. You know, it just gets lighter and thinner until it disappears.
That's true. Now with the LED is a little different. So you might get a strong beam for a long distance, but it's still the same thing. If you could measure it, you still get the same thing from 100 yards or whatever you can reach with the newer ones, with the different bulbs.
Yeah.
You know, even any type of light, it doesn't matter, guys. The lasers too.
Well, no. I mean, they're talking numbers with millions and millions of zeros. So.
Right. Over, you know, countless amounts of years.
Right.
It can't happen. It doesn't happen. And it's not happening.
Just counting 1 to a billion could take you years. Just continuously counting.
Right.
Forget about traveling at speed of light and all that.
No, well, we said there is no speed of light. Light is instant. It doesn't really have a speed.
Exactly. We are faster than the speed of light. We are instant. We are instantly there, right?
Exactly. Yes. Thought is instant. That is fascinating. I remember thinking of that one day. I was happy with that one, coming up with that. It was a long time ago. But if we could connect the thoughts in a real, like a tangible way, that would be fascinating. That would be cool. Then we could really unite with each other. I think that's maybe what they had a little bit more back then. And people less afraid of their ego, and they had no thoughts to be afraid of. So it didn't matter if your friends were with a collective mind for the better.
Oh yeah. So after how you say Rahu, the other companion is supposed to be the Ketu. And Ketu represents isolation and detachment. It also a natural malefic luminary. In Vedic astrology, Ketu gets exalted in Scorpio. Ketu represents past life and karma. It is the luminary of spiritual enlightenment, which gives moksha. Moksha means liberation. The period of Ketu brings many changes in life. During this time, the native becomes very spiritual. Ketu also represents hidden and occult knowledge. With strong Ketu, the native can travel and settle in a foreign land. It's crazy, yeah? Ketu in the Scorpio. Crazy. Anyway, what star sign are you guys? What star sign are you guys? You are a Scorpio, right, Gene?
I am a Scorpio. As far as I don't know about like my moon sign or anything like that, but yeah, I'm a Scorpio, and I definitely do follow a few of the traits. I think I'm intuitive. I have pretty good intuition. I wish I could use it better at times. having
Nice.
Having it and using it's like having the plan with not taking action though. So I try to enhance that a little more.
Oh yeah. And Evelyn, you? Evelyn, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
What star sign are you?
Capricorn.
Oh, nice. Also, cool. What day of the month? 20th December,
No, 17th January.
17th January, 8. Hmm. The number of wealth. That's nice.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
Gene, what's your day, brother? Scorpio.
October 29th.
Oh, like my son. Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
You're Scorpio too, right, Vikka?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
I'm on
6th?
on 6th. Yeah, 6th of November.
Right.
And Stephanie.
I'm Cancer. June 24th.
Nice. June.
Yeah.
June 24.
Yes.
So yeah, 6. Your Venus. Also. Like 6 represents, but then you have another significance. When you add your date, you get a compound number, and that also signifies another meaning, right? And life path number. It's crazy, yeah. It's also interconnected, astrology and numerology and palmistry and tarots and many different things. It's all interconnected. It's all because of the planets and the luminaries and the energy. It's crazy. So the sun is the king in the celestial world, right? And it represents ego, sense of self, basic personality, and general preferences. It is the center of the universe in a way, like, the light within in astrology. It represents the self, the center of our self. The sun is the driving force behind who or what we are at our core. The sun rules the Leo zodiac sign, the fiery and the dynamic regal sign. It also represents bravery. In Western astrology, the sun plays a crucial role as all the basic interpretations are based on it. It brightens the world and gives color to it. And it's also supposed to be one of the fastest moving luminaries. And it takes approximately 1 month to transit over the zodiac sign. Yeah, sun, the giver of light and life. And then we have moon. Moon is the queen of the luminaries. And it represents our inner emotions and the parts within us that we cannot express. The moon is sensitive, empathetic, nurturing mother figure of the celestial world. It represents the spiritual retreat of our most private selves. The moon rules the Cancer sign. Stephanie, that's your sign, right? The sensitive, protective water sign that defines nurture, comfort, and security. in the Vedic astrology, the moon plays a significant role. As the Vedic astrology is totally based on moon only. So you see, there are astrology that go according to the sun, there are astrology that go according to the moon, right? And same way as the calendar. So it's all to make things more complicated for the people.
Well, you know what though, it can also add more precise definition. You know what I'm thinking now is this really help you understand how to react with other people. Like if you know their sign, maybe you know where they're coming from, and that you might know how to answer them the way that they need to hear the answer. That could possibly help.
Oh yeah, definitely, brother, because it's like, for sure,
Right?
it's that extra information that can help things narrow down more easy, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know who you're dealing with, what kind of archetype you're dealing with. But also, like you said, we all, I like the idea of embracing all of the aspects of the astrological signs into my person, because they all have great features that I'd like to hone in on a little bit, what to do, what not to do. That's what it's about, right? We all see things and learn from them and make them your own way.
Oh yeah, we spoke. Yeah, go ahead, Stephanie.
Oh, I was just going to say, imagine how much different the social aspect of the world would be if we were all taught this when we were young, to look into people's, personalities and stuff, instead of just memorize history and whatever else.
Yeah, certain narrow little slice of false bad information, even at that, is what the education system gave us. No, but you're right on how to interact with, not react, because try not to react to things, but to interact with other people from where they're coming from can be a huge, not even an advantage, but yeah, sure, an advantage to both people. Not that you're trying to take advantage of people, but we're all trying to communicate things, and like I've said personally, that I grew up in the 80s, mostly listened to a lot of heavy metal, and not a lot of people were into it, but I knew that it offered some great things. So I would try to hone in on the person and where their other musical likes were. And then I'd pick a song for them and say, heavy metal offers this, and it's not all just crazy music. So that's the similarities of that. And everybody needs to hear things their own way. And if we could hone in on that, then we could express this message clearer to people. That's fun.
Oh yeah, bro. And this is the thing, the moon also moves very fast, and it takes 2.5 days to transit through the zodiac. That is why your moon sign gives you more detailed information about your personality and the potential. Mercury, because before we go into Mercury, the full moon, we spoke about the full moon too, right? It's the energy it has.
Well, yeah, it's at full charge, right? Full moon always rises at sunset, full charge, 180 degrees from the sun.
Oh yeah, you see almost like a day, like in the night. I'm in the nature, and even in the half moon, you can see already, most of the thing in the night.
You can see nice shadows on a clear night with a half a moon.
Exactly.
And a half a moon rises at 90 degrees above you, halfway, 180, right? So look at that cycle. And that's totally predictable and flawlessly perfect.
Oh, yeah. And then we have Mercury. Mercury is the smallest and the innermost luminary. It's supposed to be the messenger of God. Mercury was a deity in Roman astrology. Mercury represents our communication, intellectual power, traveling, speech. It indicates our creative talent too. Mercury shows logic and rationality. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo, and both these signs represents different ways of expression. Gemini is an airy extrovert sign, and Virgo is an earthly introvert sign. Mercury takes around 13 to 14 days to transit in the 12 zodiac signs, and it always remains close to the sun. And then we have Venus. Venus represents love, romance, and relationship, the luminary of love and beauty. Venus is named after the enchanting goddess. It's the planet of all flowery things and sensuality. Apart from love and romance, Venus represents luxury, fine wine, and rich food. However, Venus placement reveals our idealized perception of love. Venus rules Taurus and Libra. And each sign represents a different way of love and expression. The earth sign Taurus is a physician. In contrast, the airy sign Libra is cerebral. Venus takes around 4 to 5 weeks to transit a zodiac sign. And then we have the Mars. Mars represents action. Mars also is the red planet, which shows intensity and passion.
Hey, Vic, I want to say something about Mercury and Venus.
Yeah.
If in the heliocentric model, you shouldn't be able to see those two planets at night because you'd be on the wrong side of the sun to see them. So when you see them, right? So when
Exactly.
or they're in the dusk, you realize that they're in the wrong place. That's impossible to see because they're in between us and the sun. So there's that.
Oh, yeah. Another glitch, right?
Yeah, right.
So Mars is also known as the red planet, which shows our intensity and passion. Mars placement shows us how we chase our goals and relates to our libidos and sexual energy. It also considered a natural malefic planet. Mars rules Aries and Scorpio sign, which are strong sign of anger and aggressiveness. Doesn't sound like to me, but yeah, Scorpios are really chilled out, right?
I think I'm pretty mellow. I've always been.
Unless somebody mess around, right? That's the Scorpio thing, right?
Well, I can be protective for my friends and my family. Yeah, I can be a little protective. Yeah. From what I remember.
Yeah, just because there's some sign connected with the zodiac doesn't mean that's your whole personality, right? There are aspects of it, but
Right, exactly. I like to try to identify with being creative and intuitive for the most part. I don't pay too much attention to, I kind of looked at it like it was commercialized, and I didn't really appreciate that too much. I don't like commercialized things. And I fell off of that more and more and more. As a kid, I liked certain things. Sure, of course I did. But now it's just different for me.
oh yeah, because we evolve, right? We learn. Life gives a lot of lessons, right? And we built on that. We built on that. Yeah, we structure, right? We learn from mistakes and we grow, right? So things change, perception change, right? For many things.
The perception, I think, is the most valuable for me to change, because you don't look at something the same. It's just, it's easier, I guess.
Oh yeah, so we almost have half the way. We're gonna take a break, all right, guys, and then we continue. I just have 2, 3 more planets, and then Evelyn, it's your turn then. All right, we're gonna be right back, guys.
Yes.
2, 3 minutes break, and we're gonna be right back. Don't go anywhere, guys. We're gonna be right back. right, welcome back, guys. Astrology on our flat run, part two. We have Jean, Evelyn, and Stephanie with us. I'm gonna give a quick shout out to the people in the chat. It's supposed to be Evelyn is there in the chat. There's King Crimson, Queens M, Cover to Cover with Jeremy Pierce. Yes. And then there's RTS, which says congrats to Vikka and his team, Jean, Evelyn, and Stephanie for another awesome stream. Restreaming live on RTS with 28,000 views and 5,000 thumbs up, likes, plus 61 thumbs down so far. Follow Vikka and Jean on RTS. Yes, people, rts.video. And then there is, yep. The next planet I wanted to mention is just the Jupiter and Saturn. And then we are almost done with the planet or luminaries or the giant luminary in the universe is the Jupiter, the planet of luck and fortune. Like they say, that if you have Jupiter somewhere in your astral or your natal chart, it's like abundance. Jupiter represents positivity, bringing growth, opportunity, and good vibes. It also represents spirituality and philosophy. Jupiter is referred to as a great benefic luminary. Good education, career, marriage, and childbirth is associated with Jupiter. Yeah, it's not an ordinary luminary. It's a blessing. Indeed, is essential to achieve anything in this fast-moving world. Jupiter rules the sign of Sagittarius, the sign known for its thrill-seeking disposition. The Jupiter, it takes around 12 to 13 months to transit. And last we have Saturn. Saturn represents boundary, limitations, restrictions, and hardships. Sometimes Saturn can be harsh and unemotional, which gives us a learning through tough love and complex challenges. However, Saturn always wants to be mature and be the best version of yourself, which can only become by doing hardships. Saturn rules the earthly Capricorn and the airy Aquarius. Takes around 2.5 years for Saturn to shift from one zodiac to another. Crazy, yeah? So it's all the frequency that is happening through it. That's why we feel, and that's why we pass through the situations we pass through during the week, year, month. And also numerology is also connected with it. But anyway, we're gonna let Evelyn mention some things, and then we're gonna continue with Evelyn.
Yes. Okay. Well, coming from the biblical side, well, I've got a few pointers for the art of reading the stars. So I'm gonna set up the scene here for you. So I'm going to take you back. We'll take you back to Genesis. I think everybody knows that one. Genesis 1:14. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night." So he's already setting the stars just to be seen during the night. And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. So he's already setting them up here so that we can look up at them for signs. So that's really, really interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah, because when you go into the when you deepen in yourself into the art of divination, that's something else than fortune telling and all that. But to be able to read what's written in the stars, that's that's a complete other way of reading the stars. I'm going to Enoch. Going to Enoch here. He says also he's writing all his observations. He's looking into books that the angels are showing him and all that, and the angels are telling him over the luminaries, and they say they know. So that's telling you already that it's not just a light. It's a living being. They know that the heavenly luminaries change not their paths, that each rises and sets regularly, everyone at its proper time, without transgressing the commands which they have received. So they have been placed in a particular path to tell a particular story. So they behold the earth and understand what is there transacted from the beginning to the end of it. So if you understand that, what the way that they have been put up there, it's going to be telling a story from the beginning to the end. And is this one? Well, to the east. Yeah, that's Enoch again. And I saw how the stars of heaven come forth, and I counted the portals out of which they proceed, and wrote down all their outlets of each individual star by itself, according to their number and their names, their courses and their positions, and their times and their months. And as Uriel, the holy angel who was with me, showed me, he showed all things to me and wrote them down for me. Also their names he wrote for me, and their laws and their companies. So he's getting a very detailed description of what's happening up there in the firmament. Wait a minute. Dog is
Exactly. And it's not astronomy, it's astrology.
Yes, it's astrology. Yes. And got another passage here. What's this? Chapter 80. I'm jumping here, jumping. Okay. And here I'm jumping to what there, yeah, to the end of times, to the end times. Is saying, and many chiefs of the stars shall transgress the order prescribed, and these shall alter their orbits and tasks, and not appear at the seasons prescribed to them. And the whole order of the stars shall be concealed from the sinners, and the thoughts of those on the earth shall err concerning them, and they shall be altered from all their ways. So what they're letting here know is that many chiefs of the stars shall transgress the order. That means that, yeah, exactly that they're gonna change
They're going to
um,
shift position from where they
change
normally would be, right?
positions, shift positions. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we were sort of talking about this last week. Why is the Vatican so interested in the sky the way they are?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're looking for a shift of something, and it's going to be a sign for something else.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the signs.
Yeah.
So, and if we go to Revelations, there's also a couple of mentions. Revelation 8:10, and the third angel sounded. This is the also the end times. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven. So it's, yeah, a star, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood. So it's mentioned. I mean, I've heard many people mention wormwood in all kinds of in other cultures and that, and I'm like, yeah, wormwood. That's it. What are they talking about, wormwood? Now, and here I come across it and I think, oh, okay, it's a well-known being that's that's a star. And the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. So, and then which one was it? 9:1. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him. So um, it's already saying here that it's a being. It's a him. It's a someone. And to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. So this star is a him. This star is an angel. I mean, this it's it's a well-known fact in the Bible. They know that the stars are angels. So, and then there's another one, Revelation 12:1. This is not end times. This is a revelation of the past, because this is when Jesus was born, I think. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven. So you have to realize here that it's not talking about a physical woman, because it says, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. So it's not talking about a physical woman, but it's talking about a constellation, with the sun and the moon under her feet. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. So he is a description of a constellation that was visible in the sky when Jesus was born. And taking you back again to divination. And well, how do we know that, people in the Bible? Because you don't see it, this particular story, you don't see it in the Bible how it went, because this is the story of Joseph when he was sold into slavery by his jealous brothers. He ended up in the Pharaoh's court. He was he was made second in command to the Pharaoh, because he was able to interpret a dream that he had. So he was so grateful. And according to, I've got here a little piece. According to the principle of intercalation by the Rabbi Eleazar, intercalation. What is intercalation? In timekeeping, is the insertion of a leap day, week, or month into some calendar years to make the calendar follow the seasons or moon phases. So it's actually reading the stars and twinkling with it so that it coincides with the seasons, with everything that's happening around.
Exactly. It's like using that formula of the stars to create calendars, and that those calendars could be in thousands of years, could go
Yes.
on, because that perfection and geometry and that cycle is within those movements above, right?
Yeah, because they, the people who were taught to, to intercalate, they had to be schooled in reading the stars and in being able to actually input the information and then get the calendar good, aligned with what was happening in the in the heavens.
Exactly.
And
Even the even the sounds and the names. There are some people who give the names to their children according to that astrology, and which sounds are related to that time of the year, or that zodiac, or that constellation, right? And the names are given starting from that sound. It's crazy. It's so much interrelated. Go ahead.
Yes. Well, according to this principle of intercalation, see, he delivered the calculations to the first man in the Garden of Eden. So this is God giving Adam the ability to do that, or the knowledge to do that. And then Adam handed on the tradition to Enoch, who was initiated in the principle of intercalation. So and then from Enoch, it went to Enoch to Adam. Enoch delivered the principle to Noah, and then from Noah to Shem, and it's and here, okay. It's interesting to note that all these these patriarchs who had this knowledge, they were called priests. That was the priests of the order of the Melchizedek, and that was the God's priests on earth.
Yeah,
And
just
then,
because they had the knowledge and the information and they were not
yeah,
giving it to the rest, so they became God.
yeah, they became quite powerful. They became priests, and then
Leaders
Shem
and
delivered.
politicians, yeah, like even
Yeah,
like today, it's the
yeah,
same thing.
the same thing. Yeah. And then Shem delivered the tradition to Abraham, and then Abraham to Isaac, and then Isaac to Joseph, and Isaac gave to not to Jacob, first Jacob, and the Jacob to Joseph and his brothers. So the whole family, they had this knowledge. They were schooled in this. And then Joseph ended up in Egypt, and well, and now comes the book of Jasher, because in the Bible it doesn't it's edited out. You have a very compact story of um, of Joseph and his brothers, um, communicating there, and it just says that he couldn't take it anymore, and he let his brothers know that he was Joseph, their brother, and all that. But in Joshua, they go to a bit more detail, and comes to a point that caught my eye because um, because he 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 pulled aside was the little brother Benjamin. Benjamin was his younger brother from his mother Rachel, who had died during childbirth, I think. So he pulled aside his brother Benjamin, and says, and he ordered them, as in um, the servants, to bring before him his map of the stars. So he's got a map of the stars in front of him, whereby Joseph knew all the times. And Joseph said unto Benjamin, I have heard that the Hebrews are acquainted with all wisdom. Dost thou know anything of this? So he's asking Benjamin, are you acquainted with this map of the stars? And Benjamin said, Thy servant is knowing also in all the wisdom which my father taught me. And Joseph said unto Benjamin, Look now at this instrument. So he's not only got a map, or a map which is an instrument. So he says, now look at this instrument and understand where thy brother Joseph is in Egypt, who you said went down to Egypt. Because they're saying that, well, Joseph could still be alive and in Egypt. So he's asking, well, where is, with this instrument, can you decipher where Joseph is? And Benjamin beheld that instrument with the map of the stars of heaven, and he was wise and looked therein to know where his brother was. And Benjamin divided the whole land of Egypt into 4 divisions, and he found that he who was sitting upon the throne before him was his brother Joseph. And Benjamin wondered greatly, and when Joseph saw that his brother Benjamin was so much astonished, he said unto Benjamin, What hast thou seen, and why art thou astonished? And Benjamin said unto Joseph, I can see by this that Joseph my brother sitteth here with me upon the throne. And Joseph said unto him, I am Joseph thy brother. So it's it's quite yeah. I'm not surprised this wasn't this was edited out of the Bible because they don't want us to know these kinds of things.
Oh yeah, so we can imagine the technology these people would have had, because they're speaking about gadgets and they're speaking about maps.
Yeah.
They have total control of what's happening above, and they are not only predicting, they're like literally seeing and locating things with that
Yes,
gadget. It's crazy.
manipulating a gadget, and it's like dividing the land and this and that, and he's looking at the map of the stars, and he's looking at this and that, and and he and he can tell what what's happening just by doing this stuff.
Oh
And
yeah,
all
it's crazy. It's
it's crazy because it's like what it's
Well,
like
did he
having
ask?
a
Did he ask where he was going to be? Right? Is that what you said?
no where he is
Oh, where he is.
at the moment,
All right. And
and
a different location, right?
pinpointed it this instrument, this yeah, it pinpointed to Benjamin where his brother was.
Wow.
So and I'm like, wow, this is incredible. This is incredible. And these are the things that I'm looking, besides the Bible, because I mean I take the Bible as the let's say the basis. If it contradicts it, I'm like, oh, okay, but if it doesn't contradict what's there, it is just adding to it. It's adding more details. It's adding more life into it. Like this
oh,
story.
exactly, and it's just confirming, right, the use of astrology and this technology, right, and this wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the importance of it, of how good we could use this information for all of us.
And they didn't had any GPS or something, but they had some kind of a freaking gadget. So there's a
That's
there's
what I'm
another.
thinking.
Yeah.
It's like GPS on you, and this guy just typing all the information. Hey, GPS says you're standing here right beside me. There's no GPS.
Yeah, so the other device we could also speak about, which connects and relates to this, is an astrolabe, right? Because right, an astrolabe is supposed to be an astronomical calculating device that did everything from telling you the time to map the stars. So like imagine a device that could do everything: give you time, your location, your horoscope, and even help you make decisions.
Yes, I'm certain that they had something like that here.
Exactly. And
It's
all with a swipe of a hand.
yes,
It's overpriced, customizable, and comes with a variety of bells and whistles. No,
Yeah,
this
sure.
isn't iPhone. It's an astrolabe, a remarkably versatile tool that was used for centuries.
yeah. But I think this must have been an instrument that was saved, or that was used, kept by high ranking. I mean, this was Joseph in the palace of the pharaoh, and then you have Isaac, who was also Jacob. not Isaac, Jacob. These, he was the the Melchizedek priest. He was the high priest. So you have people in high places having this knowledge, having this kind of instruments and maps, because they needed to be schooled. They needed to be special training, that kind of thing. So this, I don't think this was an instrument that any peasant could.
Yeah, it's like to have that Greek education or that high tech education of that time, and managing this kind of stuff and knowledge was like Harvard of this time, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Sure, they're kind of complicated, I think. I'm not too familiar with Astrolabe, but I know I wouldn't know how to use one.
Oh yeah, and it shows the importance and how it also works only on a flat realm, right? The astrolabe, the position of the sun, and the constellation. So it's, and the word astro is there with the astrology, so it's all connected with the stars and the planet and the realms, right? And how we perceive the earth.
Yes.
So yeah, go ahead.
The importance is being presented to us right now. That's for sure. And the constant cycles and patterns couldn't happen in Big Bang Theory. It can only happen if all of these stars, the sun, the moon, and the planets, if they're just circling around us.
Yes,
Can't
they have to be
happen.
visible all the time.
Well, yeah, and
Able
if
to pinpoint where they are, they have to be visible all the time.
but we couldn't be a body in motion as well with all of that motion going on, though. And the cyclical patterns kind of prove that, don't they? How can you have these patterns and so many different ones too? So it's not just one pattern of the sun going by every day and everything else does what it wants. These are all cyclical patterns for recorded.
But it's the same thing. Gene, is the same concept of software and hardware, right?
Yeah, sure, exactly, yeah. The stars are the software, and these gadgets are the hardware.
Yeah, and the maps and all the gadgets and all their whatever they use for that, right?
Absolutely, and the repeated cycles and patterns that they present. Again, I guess they just couldn't happen in Big Bang Theory, and that cosmological story that the mainstream is trying to tell and have been telling, and it's only 500 years old. So it's not really that old, and that's what they say it is. We don't even know if it's really 500 years old, right? Because the 5,000-year-old, 6,000-year-old timeline is questionable with what these patterns are presenting and what they knew back then. First crack of dawn for humanity, right? They knew all these things. Okay.
Exactly. And imagine to have this kind of stuff was like an edge for, like, you imagine even for the Romans during that time to have something like that, because it was like having like a smartphone, so the astrolabe,
Sure, if they could,
like that.
yeah, no, really, if they could predict these events happening, they could absolutely use it to their advantage, just like we said with Columbus. Simple as that.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. They couldn't have everybody being able to read these instruments because everybody
Right.
would be using them to their own advantage or misusing it to their own advantage.
Exactly. It's
Right.
crazy. Yeah.
I like to think just using it for advantage of everybody. That's just how I
Yeah,
like
but
to think. I know.
realistic. That's not realistic. I mean, there's all kinds of people,
I hear you.
even in Joseph's time.
They're out there.
They're out there. They know who they are.
Go ahead,
It's
Stephanie.
unfortunate, though. Unfortunately, if you look at our culture right now at the epitome of evolution, right? You look at any old culture and they had a knowledge of the stars. I mean, pretty much anyone you pick out, they had advanced knowledge, even Aboriginal tribes that never saw anybody else. So this was definitely done on purpose. The hiding of the, you know, the divine language, basically.
Yeah, I'm wondering now if there's an original instrument somewhere.
Oh yeah, have to be, because the astrolabe came into being during times of economic prosperity,
Yeah, wasn't that
like
Fox?
during the height of the Roman Empire, and remained popular through the 18th century also. But for sure, it's
Yeah,
much
but
more ancient, and the technology is much more ancient than what they want us to believe. You know, like this
I think
somewhat sign. Yeah, go ahead, Gene.
I think it became popular at that time because they needed it to be more popular.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think. They needed more people to understand how to use it, and so they offered more classes than that, or however they handle those things. These Harvards, these Yale places where they teach the esoteric, real knowledge that they are hiding from us.
Yeah. Looking for naturals that could read the stars.
So this is somewhat scientific, right? Somewhat mystical device leaves it traces in modern analog gadgets like the fanciest Swiss watches. And while it's no longer common for the educated elite to have one of these frisbee-sized objects hanging from their wall, so they have the same functional thing on their hands, on their wrist. Astrolabe, which translates roughly to star taker in Greek. So depending on where it made, it could vary, but the function is the same. Like they could be as small as a coffee saucer or as large as a trash can lid, and
So
made out of. Yeah, go ahead.
I wonder if that's what all those Anunnaki and Egyptians and all those little flower watch things were.
Exactly. Could be.
Yeah, they had a lot of them had something on their wrist.
Maybe it was just a very simple one to tell the time.
Sundial on their wrist.
Yeah.
But could have had more functions. Could have had more functions. You're right.
Well, you think about it.
Like the short film that I sent you of the little
Yeah, that device. There are many devices like this. Which are all connected with the luminaries. Even the sundials. Even it's the one you sent me. It was like a combination of sundial and the calendar, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and it's so small also.
Exactly, and I also remember they used to sell, I don't know, maybe a decade ago, like a brass disc, a flat disc, a thin sheet of round brass or bronze, and you have all the dates there on it. And if you turn that, you could just go in the future and past, and you could see which year, which day it was, and everything. It's crazy. They used to sell a decade ago. I had a couple of them before. Some are timed till 2050. Some are till 2100.
Was it like a little calendar, Vikka?
Yeah, yeah. It was like a little calendar, a round one, but made of metal.
Wow.
So imagine it's just such a simple stuff, and you could just rotate, and you could just see like hundreds of years in the, which day, what day, or which month, in which year it's gonna be, or you could see in the past, like you could see maybe what was in the 90s at this month, this day, or somebody was born or something happened, right? So it's so accurate, being so simple stuff.
Yeah, that's why I like to go to markets, because you never know what you can find. Some kind of antiquity, some gadget or something. Never found anything, but I keep
Yeah,
trying.
I don't know how they, able to record that precision. I don't understand that. And by the way, they can't cut massive blocks of granite like they did in Egypt back in the day. Supposedly, they've done a couple of cool things with copper and vibrations, but they've never been able to cut any stone like they have in the pyramids. Like
I think they must have used something like some kind of precious stones and the use of light, because I think I remember now. Maybe it was also in the book of Joshua or another. It was in one of the live streams where when Noah built the boat. When Noah built the boat, one of the things. Oh no, it was the other. No, I don't have the book. When he built the boat, in the center of the boat, they had a sort of a hollow part, and I think it was meant to allow water in and out so that it would stabilize.
Oh, like a ballast.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at the top, he was supposed to get some crystal from some location, and that crystal would be used for light for the boat.
Oh yeah,
And
I have a what they call I have what they
when I
call
went into all this
a deck lamp.
crystal territory, so it just blew my mind there that they're using certain crystals. So I'm thinking that to cut all these stones, they could have been using some kind of crystal to intensify and make a sort of a ray or something like that.
Right. That could make sense if they could vibrate the light a certain way and
Yes.
concentrate it and send it through a crystal. I don't see why not. But
Yeah, because
I know what you're
crystal.
talking about.
Yeah, go ahead, Gene.
Well, I was going to say that I have a glass version of a deck prism. What you're talking about, Evelyn? And it's a 6-sided piece of glass that they cut a hole in the deck of a ship, and whatever light could pass through, it would multiply by 6 because it has 6 sides. It's a pretty cool piece of glass. It's like 3 pounds in the shape of a pyramid with a base that fit into a 2x4.
Yeah.
But not crystal's the way to go, I guess, right?
Yeah, because when you reflect light, it reflects, just once. But if you can intensify with more sides, then you would get, if it's got 6 sides to reflect the light from, and it would
Right,
sort
there's a
of
flat top that it's coming through.
Yeah, and also the vibration of the self, the crystal itself vibrates at its frequency in hundreds of thousands. So imagine adding some other effect to it could.
Right,
Yeah, it
and
was
then
probably
you get.
a combination. Yeah, it was probably a
I was just
combination
gonna say, you
of
get the right
light,
combination.
crystals, frequency. Who knows?
Time.
Cool. So the other thing I wanted to mention about this astrolabe, that they could have made it out of wood or brass too. You know, it was supposed to be a multi-purpose tool that consists of a circular stack of sliding features, all embedded within a disc called a mater, a round plate containing a two-dimensional projection of the Earth's latitude lines sit within the mater, and over that plate, another circular feature called the rete contains the location of certain well-known stars in the sky. Over that, a straight rule pivot around to line up with the time measurements along the edge of the mater. And on the back of the whole thing, a pivotable sitting device that helps to find the altitude of the star. Often the starting point of the calculation. It's crazy, yeah, the amount of information that is there, because it's just, there are things that are fixed, in a way, for these devices and how it works. And that also saying itself, right, that it's only possible on a flat, stationary Earth.
Yeah, that's the thing. We can't be a moving factor in this equation. Can't happen. And the precision, the circles the stars make, it's a design. That's what it is. The clock, right? The sun tells you time of day, moon tells you time of month, the stars tell you the time of the year. That's how it goes. Perfect clock. So that's not the result of an accident 5 billion years ago, or 13 billion years ago, rather. Right? That's a design. Intelligent design, not an accident.
Oh yeah, and the heavenly dance proves that, right?
Does for me. And I'll say it all the time because it's the truth. And that was one of the biggest problems I had being a space fan growing up as a kid. I remember as a kid thinking to myself, how can the stars never ever change position ever? And in the heliocentric Big Bang model, that theory, you shouldn't be able to see the same stars twice in a row, like 2 nights in a row, let alone for thousands of years, really. Couldn't have it. It'd be chaotic and erratic and unpredictable if that was really going on.
Exactly, because this is the same thing. Also, the numbers plays an important role, right, in all this, because astrology is also connected with numbers. Or if someone can say the number, the numbers come from astrology or astrology comes from number, but in the end it's the same thing, right? As we spoke about, that the repetition of the numbers in the Fibonacci sequence or in the Mandelbrot set or in the mandalas, it's all just amplification of the same numbers. So even numerology also plays an important role because it's a part of astrology too.
Wow, right. And numbers are very predictable also, right? What do they say? Math don't lie. So all these things go right hand in hand. Numbers,
Exactly.
right? Numbers can be very predictable. They're very random too, like shooting
It's its
dice
own
random. Yeah,
language.
but what's that?
It's its own language.
Right, right.
And character, how it had its own characteristics also, right? The numbers. Hey, Keith.
Hey guys, what's up?
Keith, what's up, bro?
Hey, Keith.
Hey, just been busy, but I've been listening as I'm driving around the last little while here and heard you guys talking about different mechanisms and such and the astrolabe. And I looked into the astrolabe not too long ago, and this is just how stupid mainstream science is. They said, well, the astrolabe used to be spherical, but a rich guy who had one fell off his horse and he fell on top of it and he flattened it out and found out that it works better when it's flat. So they started making them flat instead of
Oh
spherical.
man,
Oh
that's
my
pathetic.
God.
Is that a real story?
And yeah, well, that's a story that they tell when they talk about the astrolabe.
Right.
Oh,
Well,
shoot, guys, there's a launch going off
Oh,
right
for the
now.
tourists.
Hey, I'm going
you're
to cut
watching a
out and try to
launch?
I just turned the corner. There's a launch going off, scraping up against the dome right now. I'm gonna hang up and record this real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share it with you guys later.
Very cool.
All right, see you guys.
Wow, look at that. Launches left and right. Keith did a drive-by.
Cool. So numerology influences a person's personality traits and his future life in a meaningful way. And if the principles like suggested by astrologer or something could lead to a better future, because also it's understand because you can apply it for yourself if you understand that, These numbers from 1 to 9 are associated with some zodiac signs. These numbers really have an impact on people's life. Because they have been used in everywhere, even in ancient Egypt, China, Rome, Japan, India, Greece, everywhere.
They say, some people say right now, if you see 1111 or you see repeating numbers, whatever they are to you, that's the universe talking to you.
Exactly, it's a synchronous. You are in sync with your guardian angels or whatever you want to call,
Inner clock.
in
I
a way
believe in
too.
that too. I believe we all have an inner clock that is adjusted to our current 24-hour cycle, probably, and maybe other things as well internally. But I programmed myself as a kid to wake up at a certain time, and I was able to do it. And I could do it now if you want. If you could get in contact with that little version of the inside of your head, you could go look at a clock at any given time and you practice something like that if that's what you're into. And there's various ways of practicing things like this to get in touch with that with yourself, rolling the dice, predicting the numbers, stuff like that. But time is a good one, because I woke myself up in the middle of the night at a perfect time, and you absolutely do have your own alarm clock and anything in that nature.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Is that Keith again? How'd it go, Keith?
Hey, I missed it. I got the very tail end of it right before it splashed down in the ocean.
Wow. Hey, how often do they do that stuff nowadays?
It seems like it's been more and more the last few years, and I never hear about it until it's happening. But I've caught 3 or 4 of them the last 2 years, just driving around, seeing them in the sky. But it's
By
amazing that,
chance. That's crazy.
yeah. But it's amazing people look up at that and believe the lies that it's going around the curvature of the Earth when you can look up and see it's not much higher than a commercial jet. And it's obviously not very far away, and it's obviously coming right back down to the surface of the Earth. And yet, because of the depth of the indoctrination in our civilization, people believe the lies and think that thing is going around the curvature of the Earth and slingshotting into outer space or something stupid. But
And
yeah,
what's that,
it's amazing.
Keith? Isn't the time frame between launch and the crashes usually like a couple of minutes?
It's not real long. It's probably a little bit more than a couple minutes, maybe 5 or 10 max.
All right,
but
maybe 5 or 10 minutes. So, and how much speed they could gain and where they could really end up being at such a short amount of time.
yeah,
You
this
know,
one
50,
tonight looked.
maybe 50 or 80 miles or so.
Yeah, I doubt that. I doubt. I bet you it's more like 15 or 20 miles, just from looking at it. And honestly, I mean, a commercial jet only goes about 30,000, 35,000 feet. I mean, that's only 6 or 7 miles, and that rocket is not a whole lot higher than that. So maybe 10 or 15 miles, in my opinion.
And you can still see it.
Yeah, you can still see it even and whatever they're doing recently, where it looks like there's like a boat trail, like if a boat was going through water and the white water that would come up from the wake of the boat, it looks just like that in the sky. And I didn't used to see that years ago, and I've seen probably 100 or 200 launches in my lifetime because I live just an hour north of the Cape. But whatever they've been doing more recently in the last few years, it's different than what they used to do. And what we're actually looking at and observing, if you can think independently and think critically, you can realize it's not that far away, and they're obviously not going to go very far away because they can't get very far away. There's a firmament there, a barrier. There's even NASA and the scientists say, oh, there's an impenetrable barrier up there, and yet the show must go on. So now they're going to send actors around the moon, allegedly. But
Keith,
anyway,
is that located in the Bermuda Triangle where you're at and watching this?
Yeah, that's the theory.
It is,
that's
right?
where it lands. And there's some photos circulating on the internet showing pieces of the old shuttles and stuff laying on the ocean floor out there.
Right.
Obviously,
It's restricted
pretty...
area, though. That's all that is. There's no like voodoo behind it or anything. It's just where they go. That's why it's restricted.
Yep.
Okay. Wow.
So anyway, I was listening to you guys talk about the precision of the sky earlier and how everything just works perfectly and on cycles and they repeat themselves. And I share that stuff with people all the time, and they're like, oh, you're just stupid. You need to go back to school and go through your elementary science book again. And the public school failed you. And I'm like, well, thank God the public school failed me. That I didn't stick with my indoctrination. And these globe trolls or globe zealots, as I like to call them, they want to tell you to go back to school as if we haven't heard everything that they can possibly say. We've heard it all. We used to be them. We used to believe all the same lies that they believe today. And those of us who were able to question things and actually trust our own eyes and trust our own senses have been able to unplug at least a little bit from this matrix of lies we live in and start seeing things more clearly. But,
exactly, because they speak about science and they ignore this science because it's not pseudoscience. This is real science, right? And we are not speaking about complex fake theories and formulas. We are speaking about simple maths.
Observable, repeatable, testable.
Exactly.
Testable, repeatable.
Yeah, when you talk about energies and frequencies, those are things that can be measured. A lot of what is taught in the school textbooks and science is just all claims with no evidence at all.
Exactly, and there are sites which observe these luminaries and all the sun, the moon, and everything, and they keep a track. Why? It's because it's real science. It's no fake pseudoscience of physicist theoretical pseudoscience, right? It's just a cover up. They do the real science a bit to show that they are doing science, but they cover with their pseudoscience to keep the agenda going, because there's a very fine line between science and pseudoscience. You know?
Yeah, we mentioned last week that the old astronomers that are like the globe gods now, whether it's Copernicus or Kepler or Newton himself or any of them, Galileo, most all those guys were not just astronomers, but they were also astrologers. They were studying the stars and the energy of the stars and what they might be doing to influence human life. And modern day science doesn't bring that up at all. But whoever these guys were, whether they really thought the Earth was a globe or not, is questionable. But it seems pretty clear that all of them were astrologers, not just astronomers.
Exactly, and it's coded in us on our daily, in our life on daily basis. We are using it as days of the weeks, the months, the equinoxes, the time of the year, the cycles, everything. We are using it, right? And as we spoke also about the numerology, that the numbers we depend on to do our maths, right? And even our names have their own numbers. If you add them, the life path number, as King Solomon says, right? So it's all part of it. You want to call them number, or you want to call them luminaries, or whatever, right? But it's the same thing. It's the same science. So we can see the importance of it in a way in this realm for us to exist and understand and to function in the correct way, right? Through this heavenly movement or dance above us.
Yeah, right, guys. Especially if you can think of like what Evelyn said, that they're angels and they're really alive. That's cool. That's super cool, right? Because then your communication is real, it has potential.
Yeah, they
To be
give off
real.
an energy.
Right.
Hey, Vikka, you mentioned the life path numbers, and I just want to recommend a book by Dan Millman. In fact, I'd recommend all of his books. He's the guy who wrote that, The Way of the Peaceful Warrior and Sacred Journey of the Peaceful Warrior. Those are two of my favorite books. I'd highly recommend both of those. But he wrote one called The Life You Were Born to Live, and it goes deep into numerology and the life path numbers and how to calculate those for each person individually. And if you read those life path numbers for yourself, for your personal birth dates and the numbers and your name, they hit the nail on the head pretty well for me and a lot of people that I know that have done it. So The Life You Were Born to Live by Dan Millman is highly recommended.
Oh yeah, brother, absolutely. The numbers and every day this energy of these numbers and the vibration of these luminaries, as we spoke, it affects us every day, every moment. And as we spoke before, that how certain days and certain number or certain color and certain food and certain plants can affect us and benefit us, or work or not so harmonious for us, right? So all this is not pseudoscience, all right? It's been passed on because it's functions, and when you apply it, you will see that it functions, and it really functions. And also the palmistry, right? Palmistry is not any magical science. The palmistry, again, if you see the person, if they know a bit about palmistry, you see, and it's all represented with the same planet, sun, moon, Venus, the amount of Venus, the all these, and all those lines are creating those angles, and it lets you more or less know what a person could go through in their life. It's like an akashic record, right? It's not some. Many people think it's a joke to see the palm of your hand and predict things. It's one of the oldest science too, because it's, because if you see I think, that if you see a birth chart, it makes all those angle between all those planets and the zodiac and the constellation, and depending on those angles that forms, people who read those charts can predict things. So it's the same way the palmistry is working too, right? So it could be literally your birth chart right in your hand, right? Or your akashic record of what your life could be, right? And it's all again connected with the stars, with the heavenly bodies, right? And the importance of it. And then there are many other sciences like that. And I'm quite sure that it is again connected with the energy and the vibration and the connection with the stars and constellation.
Right? Because it sounds like a map right in front of you. A map to your life. A part of it. As I look at my hands.
Exactly, because we more or less we know why the hell we are here in a way.
Well, honestly, I reflect on my childhood a lot because, I think we're more connected as kids. And then you get older and life just washes that child out of you in ways. And that connection washes you away in certain ways, more than others and other people too, and that's what I think I'm here to do, is more like connect with that inner kid who really understood things better. I think just more natural reflex to think a certain way when I was a kid.
Exactly, brother. And the controllers, they don't want us to use all this science, which they have labeled it as fantasy and joke and mythology and superstition and esoteric and whatever label they want to put. This is all real science, and we as human, as everything is created for us as tools, as in our favor.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Life is not easy, right? And there has to be ways of trying to make your life easy, right? And more predictable or more intuitive or whatever you wanna, right?
So
Definitely.
I just had an epiphany here, because
nice.
yeah, my brain is working double time. I was still thinking on the way that Benjamin could tell via the instrument where Joseph was, pinpointing to him. He's standing here next to me, and I'm like, what does that remind me of? And that reminds me of the X-Men movies. Yeah, X-Men. Xavier, he had the ability to pinpoint people. Using a machine, Cerebro. He would go into a very giant chamber and pinpoint people. And I'm like, wow, what if? Because when you look up at the sky, you don't see all the stars. Obviously, there are billions and billions of stars in the sky. You see the constellations, and you see some stars in between, but there are more stars. And what if what if um what if yourself on Earth, you have a sort of a representation of your soul as one of these stars.
You're accessing the matrix, so
I'm accessing the
it's
matrix,
like,
yeah.
yeah, you're accessing the matrix, so you become like, become like an ether. You could become, you could reach anywhere, you could be anywhere, you could, right? It's just totally possible, right? So it's just
Because
like,
then it would
yeah,
make sense that the way which it says in the story that he used this instrument to pinpoint where Joseph was, because
yeah.
he's looking at a chart, at a map of the stars, and he's using an instrument to pinpoint. But what is he looking at in this instrument? And
So
I'm
yeah,
thinking,
GPS, as we spoke about,
yeah, GPS.
ancient
He's
GPS.
probably looking for this particular
Yeah,
star, which
yeah.
represents his
There has
brother
to be,
Joseph.
yeah, there have to be some science behind it. Maybe we need to get,
Yeah,
behind it. But yeah, definitely sound more like a, a GPS detector. Could sound like a, could sound also like some kind of, yeah, transmitting the real position in any kind of way,
I got an
holographic,
idea.
it's
yeah,
maybe
that's
too
exactly right.
far-fetched, but
He, he's he's using the instrument and using the map of the stars. So he's looking for his star. So there's yeah, I'm thinking now there has to be a star representing, yeah, every soul on Earth.
oh yeah, totally could be possible, right? That's why they say we come from the stars, right? So
Yeah, we come from the stars. No, we are the stars.
so yeah, the thing is all this science and all this knowledge, it's all there, right?
Mm.
And the thing is that we have to incorporate these things slowly, so we start vibrating on those frequency, right? And we are seeing that astrology is, and the stars and the heavens is totally in us, through us, in everything we do, because in reality it's all about ascending, right? It's also when we speak about different colors and everything, and how different color relates also with the vibrations of the planets also, in a way, right? So, and how we are in this three-dimensional, like when we become matter, we are like, we become denser, and then we have to go back, we have to go higher and become in that color blue, and how is the representation of blue in many cultures, right, is also shown. It's crazy. They also speak about the indigo children, or the indigo, right? It's a color representation, because it's just the level of ascended level these beings have reached, right? That's why they are blue, right, or indigo. It also connects with that. Yeah.
Hey, Vika, if you don't mind, I want to just change the subject just a little bit. I know we've mentioned star forts or star stations before, or even entire star cities on the surface of the Earth. And I just want to throw it out there. If anybody knows of any research that that has the positions of some of those star forts or star stations in alignment with some of the stars that are in the sky. It's just something I've wanted to look into and research more myself, but I haven't found any real good resources on that. But we have star forts or star stations everywhere across the surface of the Earth. And when we talk about energy and frequency and vibration, I think those forts probably had something to do with energy, in the civilization that was here before us on this flat Earth. I definitely don't believe the bullshit that they were forts to protect people from cannonballs. There's too many of them. There's thousands of them in every country, every continent, and the fact that they are shaped like stars. And also, if you look into the who was the Japanese guy who froze water after putting beautiful words on the water or negative words on the water? Emoto, Dr. Emoto, and how those some of those star forts look exactly like snowflakes as well. So how did those people who had no air travel ability look down and create perfect geometry, perfect symmetry in these star forts by the thousands everywhere across the Earth? They had a much deeper knowledge or understanding of energy and frequency and vibration than we do today. But something in my gut tells me that there's something there that we can learn and uncover, relating the star forts that are on the Earth with the stars that are in the sky. So if anybody has any information or resources on that, please let us know.
Oh yeah, brother, it's also the science. It's also one of the science of sacred geometry that has been incorporated in everything, be it construction, be it painting, be it temple, churches, everything. There's a science behind it. That's why we see those perfect symmetry and perfection, and much more high tech technologies there in this. But the real root is the simplicity of repetitions and cycle and geometric, and I think there where it goes in that direction, because even if we connect with the construction, the geomancy of the earth, and the ley lines and all this stuff, the it creates a beautiful patterns, and where specifically these spots are being created also has its own meaning, and because of the energy that is flowing above and in the spot and below that, like being it water below the earth, being the air, no, so there's a reason why they are built at that particular spot, because of those crossing of those energies and lines. So this is all ancient wisdom. People need to just dig into it, and you're gonna see that there's so much there that our mind could just explore, and we wouldn't believe. That's why these things are so amazing. This is the only things we can see, right, with our normal eyes, right? Well, we can see, right? But there are many things you can see that is much more beyond this. Everything, the same thing as you can see with those two eyes. You have many things we could see further, you could see, and they are more amazing too, in every aspect. And it's all, you can see that language of the creator in there everywhere. It's crazy. It's crazy. The thing what the people need to do is, like, give more time and look into these sciences and art and wisdom and knowledge to make better of yourself, understanding of yourself and your loved one, your family, the surrounding, for your community, for everything, because these things helps, right, for us to separate and balance things out, because we see life is not so complicated, because the controllers want us to complicate things, because in the end it's all a freaking show. All right, so anyway, guys, I'm gonna be doing some last stuff, and then maybe we're gonna have our last thoughts. Okay, so William Shakespeare was not a real person. William Shakespeare was actually a signature of a man. There's a kind of, you can make an anagram or rearrange the same William Shakespeare spear as seek a wise phrase, right? So he said the earth is a stage, and we fell from the ether down to this theater, which spells earth. So you can be an extra. Yeah, go ahead. Somebody wanted to add something? Okay. So you can stay indoctrinated. No, you can be an extra, or you can be the main star in this matrix. Like the earth is our mother, and our father is the heaven, or God, also known as ether. Like as we also discussed in the Norse cosmology, Thor is the god of the gods, and his father is Odin, which is the god of the Asir or Asgard, which is the ether. And Malkut, to the Keet are Malkut being earth, and Keter are the ether. Inside the ether, where light beings, as I mentioned before, also low vibrational light becomes matter. We fall into consciousness. Higher frequency matter becomes light. It becomes illuminated. So raise your frequency through love. Either you control your mind, or you become mind controlled. Or we are the chess players, or we are the pawns. Just like the Masonic homage to the checkered board floor, spirit and matter. We are material bodies being run by eternal force called the seven luminaries. We are the seven Elohim, the seven chakras that are within us. We are good and the bad. Enlil and Enki is our ego and higher mind fighting each other. We make decisions every day. We battle ourselves. It's our higher nature versus lower nature. We all have days of conflicts. There are days we play games, right? We can be players, or we can be ascended masters of this realm. Master is the main star. Or you can be a non-playable character, which is an NPC, non-playable character, or a bot. No ambition, no diligence, a couch potato, a sloth, a loser, not a winner. We don't want to be extras. We want to be the main movie star. Life can be a dream or a nightmare. we are either dreaming the dream that we want, or we are stuck in someone else's dream. If you do not do the spiritual work, which is gain as much information as possible, stay healthy, be aware of all times of your surroundings. We come from purity and all the information in the universe. Hence, we come from pure intelligence. And we fell down into form and lost our memories. That's why babies have no memory. We are wiped clean. And our goal is to remember everything and wake up. We fell asleep. It's time to wake up, Neo. You are the one. It's time to be a werewolf in the Matrix. Red pill or blue pill? You guys choose. So it's just waking up from the Matrix, from this indoctrination, and all these sciences and all this knowledge and all this wisdom can help us to escape that Matrix. And astrology is no different. Equally as it is important, and it shows that our shape of the earth is flat and the earth is geostationary. That's why this science is possible. So it's helping in many other different ways of our life to make things positive or harmonious for us and everyone who is around us, because in the end, that's what it is for. And the more you are lost, the more you are in disinformation, the more it's going to be difficult to find the right way, because when you are lost, first you have to get back on track and then start your journey again, right? So it's just complicating more the things. So astrology, wow, it's so encoded, so much encoded that we can't even imagine. Yeah, for our. So anyway, guys, we're gonna have our last thoughts and we're gonna be wrapping up.
I'll go first and sign off. I wanted to mention also something about the energy and frequency and vibrations of the ancient architecture and the arches that are all across the surface of the earth too. Those triumphant arches, they're huge. We did not build them. Somebody else built them. But those seem to be, and I'm just throwing this out there, you can take it or leave it. So there's a theory that those might have even been portals to go from one place on the earth to another place on the earth. And I just throw it out there because I liked Evelyn's question earlier about the X-Men movie when she said, what if? What if? I think that's a great question. It's a great thing to get into a habit of asking, what if this is true? What if that is false? You know, and just ask and consider and really contemplate things that you haven't contemplated before. And I think using that what if question is really cool and fun. I think you should have fun with Flat Earth and fun with this research and fun with your life. I mean, we love to laugh. Joy is definitely one of the secrets or the keys to a long, healthy life, I believe. So ask what if more often. Thanks, guys, for letting me jump on the last few minutes. It was good to be with you again. I'll plan on being with you next week.
Oh yeah, definitely, brother.
Hey, I'll say goodnight, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. And Keith, thanks for being here. You jumped in, and your time is all crunched with all the kids. We really appreciate it. And Evelyn, Stephanie, is always great being here with you guys and everybody in the chat. This is a great topic to be covering with you guys. And I learned a lot about we're talking about days of the week, what they mean, how and when to do things become more and more important, learning how. So this has been a lot of fun. And yeah, right, Vikka, you say control your mind, or somebody's going to control it for you. So it's good to understand little things like that also about yourself. And you know how they got us looking at stars on TV, calling them stars, while we should be looking at the stars above us and emulating them because they represent us. And you know, I emulate all you guys because you're really brave and you're on the forefront of a psychological battle that we're trying to win here for humanity. And this could be a great tool on how to help have that happen, because the ancients knew more than we could probably try to even think of understanding at this point. You know how we feel like, and we do understand that they got us kind of painted in little corners in so many areas, and this could help unpaint us. We understand the cyclical patterns of everything, and we join in on it and become a participant rather than just a cog getting spun around in an endless cycle, right? So yeah, absolutely love being here with you guys, and have a good week, everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Vikka. Great show.
Oh yeah, brother. Well said. Absolutely, brother. The people need to follow the stars above. That's the real deal. You know.
Yeah, right. That's why TV stars are so, they're pushed upon us, and you know, oh, look at this, what they have, what they do, what they claim. And if you can reverse that to what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. So thanks for being here, Gene. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I'll say good night.
All right.
It's been a very interesting episode today again, and enjoyed being online, being live stream with Jean and Stephanie, Vikka, and Keith. And I'm keep getting nicely surprised by what I can find in the Bible and scriptures. I keep learning, and well, we all need to indeed to be to keep asking what if. So good night.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Great stream. Thank you for having me. If you guys get to look into, I think it's called sonoscopes. I did a lesson with my son a couple years ago for school. Of course, it'll show you the bright white NASA star, and not the ones we all know are real. But it is the vibration, the music, if you will, that it puts off. And I mean, if you put them all together, it sounds like an orchestra. And you know, it reminded me of like the angels singing for God in the Bible, or Evelyn saying that about everybody having a soul up there made me remember that. So if you get a chance, check that out because it's neat. I'd like to read a quote if I have enough time. Probably take 2 minutes. It's from the book The Atlantean Conspiracy, and I think it wraps astrology and the flat earth and everything right together. By removing Earth from the motionless center of the universe, the entirety of astrology, a science of consciousness, coveted and used obsessively by the elite, is made null and void. If the Earth is the center of the universe and all planets or ancient gods, revolve around us, then birth charts, alignments, and astrology are measurable, calculable, repeatable, and thus scientifically verifiable. But if the Earth is just one of billions of rocks, planets, revolving around billions of stars in billions of galaxies, then astrology disappears into the realm of a pseudoscience believed by our ignorant ancestors. Eric Dubay. I thought that
Oh
wrapped it
yeah,
up pretty nicely.
exactly, exactly. And the problem is that we perceive the geocentric. That's the problem for the Globers, and that's where they need to work on. And astrology proves that in every way, and the way it relates to life on Earth that we know of, at least, right? So that's real, true science, not pseudoscience, right? So geocentric, stationary, flat Earth. So awesome. Thanks for being here, Stephanie, Evelyn,
Yeah.
Keith, Gene, and thank you everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys check us out on the next episode of Heliopsychosis podcast. This is your host, Vikka Draziv, guys, signing out. See you soon. See you next week, guys. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Night, guys.
Good night.
Astronauts to the moon.
Houston, we have a problem.